Hello YouTube, number one fixer here. I'm doing a video on my HG P402. For people that have these out there, there's a good steering modification I'll show you. Right now you can get this as a ready to run kit, or you can get just the chassis if you want to put your own body on it, that sort of thing, which was my intention. I bought it in two different sections, but then I thought, well, the Defender body that's made because the HG P402 is Axial SCX10 clone. I'll get to that in a minute. And so basically the Defender body is a little top heavy like the TRX4, that sort of thing, so it does get top heavy. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to put a Jeep body on here, or the Defender D90 body on here, something like that. So I thought, well, okay, well, I might as well just buy the body then. So I used my points that I accumulate on the site. So I ended up getting the body for about 30 bucks. It does have the roll bar, the nice roll cage. The lights do have holes at the back here to put in lights if you want to. Same with the body here. The rear lights, no, they're just a decal. But it does come with a full-size spare. And some details on the inside, gear shift, steering wheel, that sort of thing. The fender flares are nice too. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong. It's a pretty heavy body. It's very strong. I've already smashed it against a couple rocks, and I've had no problems with it. It looks like, to me, it's molded after the Mercedes. There's the back. You can tell where I got hung up already on the log, and it was hung up so bad when it fell forward, and the log basically went underneath it. It basically crumpled the body permanently. So here's the back lights here. So I mean, I don't know if I'm going to keep this body or not, but for now it'll do. We'll see. To the truck. Like I said, this is an Axial SCX10 clone. I like making vehicles my own. If I spent $400 or $500 Canadian on one of these, on the SCX10, it's hard for me to dump in another $200 to $300 in making it my own. So having a clone like this, you start off with $100, and which is basically what I paid for it, less the electronics, and I can basically add the axial parts to whatever I want. Make whatever motor I want to put in there, you know, transmitter, receiver, whatever I want. So a lot of people are going to say, well, you just hate Axial and blah blah blah. You know what? I don't mind Axial at all. A couple of my buddies have Axial, and they're a great car. They're a great truck. They're very, very durable. I plan on using a lot of their parts on here, which is one of the reasons why I bought it. It's just when you're on a budget, it's hard to spend $500 on an Axial vehicle. This is hobby grade, so I've upgraded already to the metal chassis, G-Made shocks, programmable Race-Star ESC, matching motor, which is a 540 27 turn. I put a heat link on it with a fan, a Venom battery, 3000 milliamp nickel metal hydrate because the motor's brushed. Yeah, so I mean, I've got with the transmitter and everything, body, maybe $200. So now I can easily go and spend another $200 to $300 and put Axial axles in it, and I would have one heck of a trail truck. Is it going to be as durable as the Axial? Well, time will tell. But for now, I like tinkering around and making things my own. These shock towers are plastic, which Amazon has some Axial shock towers out of machined aluminum, which I do plan on doing. Since there is no panhard bar on the front steering here, that's why I opt for the metal chassis right away. It keeps it pretty strong. Show you underneath here. The only thing I do say I'm not a fan of are these axles. They look more like a military style. They don't look very scale. So that's what I plan on doing with this truck. I want to get as close to scale or realistic as I possibly can. But one other part I wanted to mention on this video, which was the point of this video, is that anybody that has one of these HG P402s, the 401, the 406, which is the 6-wheel drive version, they know the steering sucks. And it does. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just that these steering links are too big, too far away from the knuckle. I'm not sure. But if you look here, you can see this steering bar sits way out here. It's almost to the front of the wheel. So it's not very tight. If you notice the Axial ones, or even the Red Cat ones, they're very close to the pumpkin. So that's what I think we need to do. I'm going to try and change out these knuckles to see if I can bring it a little closer. But for now, there's a steering link that goes from the servo here to the passenger side steering bar. Now that's only 60 millimeters. So the problem with that is the gears to the servo, on a servo, they sit to one side. They're not in the center. So the side of the gear is the side that you would get the most turn out of. Why I don't know. There's so many I guess formulas and stuff to figure all that out. But that's what I found right off the hop. So this is 60 millimeters, like I said. So by changing it around, I put a Traxxas part number 3643, 82 millimeters bar. So now it goes from the servo to the driver's side. So in doing that, that's basically allowing me to get the same distance when I turn left as I turn right. The factory one, it was allowing me to get 17 degrees turning right and only 10 degrees turning left. So now by doing it this way, it's basically centering it. So now I'm getting probably around the 15 degrees on both sides. With a high torque servo, I should be able to max out and get my full, I think it's 23 or 25 degrees that I worked it out to be. So that's what I plan on doing for future is a high torque servo. 20 to 23 kg is what I'm after, and waterproof too as well, by the way. This one here, the servo I have in here, is not waterproof. But anyway, I'm not going to show you how I did this. It's just a couple of screws. I took it out, replaced the link. It was very simple. I used the same shoe horn for the that's on the servo that came with the car, so that's not a problem. So this link here cost me $4, and I definitely improved the steering. There's no doubt about it. What else can I say? It's a good car to start with if you're looking to get into trail trucks and that sort of thing. One thing that really made me buy one of these instead of starting with, let's say, a scale Axial parts, like starting with the chassis and then buying the transmission and then buying the axles I wanted and going up from there, is the fact of the Axial axles. They don't look like the front ones don't look very scale because the servo is mounted on there. Now this kit has the servo mounted up in the chassis, which I think looks very much more scale or realistic. So if you look here at these two holes that are in this support bracket for the chassis here, Axial bumpers fit right in there. So if I took out this factory bumper here for this Mercedes body, I could basically put anything on it I want. So I also was expecting it to be very tinny sounding, cheap, a lot of grinding on the gears, that sort of thing. But it's not. It's very quiet. It's definitely worth the $100. You know, when you've got kids that are going to university and college, it's very hard to justify spending $500 to $1,000 on an RC truck. And like I said, I like making them my own. So you know what? At the end of the day, even if I do have $800 plus into this car, the truck, I should say, meaning I'm gonna upgrade if I was to upgrade the rims, the tires, you know, a bigger battery, maybe a 6,000 milliamp nickel metal hydrate, you know, a different receiver, adding a winch, lights, that whole thing. You know what? I'd have one heck of a truck, and it would definitely be comparable to an Axial by then. So am I right in saying that you spend $800 now or $800 later? Okay, but when you're gradually starting it, you got to start with something. So at least this way, right now, I've got, with the body and everything, I've got $200 into this. I can have fun with it, no problem. and slowly upgrade to things that I think need to. Like I said, these tires from the that come with the car, they're actually quite sticky. I took the foams out. These are bead locks, so I mean that's another thing that it's got, a bonus. So yeah, just because I've never had a trail truck before, I got to start somewhere. So any comments or questions, please feel free to leave a comment or question if you have one. Yeah, let's do this. Bye for now.